I'll create a new sci-fi story with the theme human-alien relationship, divided into two parts of approximately 2,000 words each. First, let me outline both parts. Story outline. Command and Conquer. An Alien's Pledge. Part 1. First Contact. Captain Maya Chen, commander of the exploration vessel Horizon, discovers a damaged alien ship drifting in deep space. Inside, they find a lone survivor, Kyrax, a humanoid alien with unique abilities. Kyrax pledges allegiance to Maya in exchange for sanctuary, claiming to be the last of their kind. The crew is suspicious of Kyrax's motives and unusual abilities. Maya forms an unexpected connection with the alien, despite protocols against fraternization. A hostile alien vessel appears, hunting for Kyrax. Kyrax reveals partial truth about their people and why they're being hunted. Part 2. The Bond. The pursuing aliens attack the Horizon, demanding Kyrax's surrender. Maya refuses to hand over Kyrax despite pressure from Earth Command. Kyrax reveals their species evolved as symbiotic partners to other sentient beings. In a desperate moment during battle, Kyrax offers a deeper bond with Maya to save the ship. Their mental connection allows them to coordinate a brilliant defense. After defeating the attackers, Maya must decide whether to formalize their partnership. Maya accepts Kyrax as her bonded companion, creating the first human-alien symbiotic pair. Earth Command recognizes the potential of such partnerships for future human-alien relations. Now, I'll write the full story beginning with Part 1. Part 1. First Contact. Captain Maya Chen's boots echoed against the metal floor as she strode through the corridors of the ESS Horizon. 5 years into their deep space exploration mission, the Horizon had documented 17 new planetary systems and made first contact with 3 spacefaring species. But nothing in Maya's extensive training had prepared her for the situation unfolding in Cargo Bay 3. Status report, she demanded, stepping through the airlock. The security team stood at attention, phase rifles aimed at a containment field in the center of the bay. Lieutenant Commander Jackson, her security chief, approached. Still stable, Captain. Medical scans indicate the subject is humanoid, approximately 2 meters tall, with internal physiology, unlike anything in our database. Maya approached the containment field, her dark eyes narrowing as she studied the figure inside. The alien was tall and slender with iridescent blue-green skin that seemed to shimmer under the harsh bay lights. Its face was almost human. 2 eyes, though they were solid violet with no visible pupils, a small nose, and a lipless mouth. Where a human would have hair, it had what appeared to be delicate tendrils that floated as if suspended in water. Can it communicate? Maya asked. Unknown, Captain. It hasn't attempted. I can communicate perfectly well, the alien interrupted, its voice melodic and accented, but clearly understandable. And I would prefer not to be discussed as if I were inanimate. Maya stepped closer to the containment field. I apologize. I'm Captain Maya Chen of the Earth Spaceship Horizon. Can you tell us who you are and how you came to be adrift in that damaged vessel? The alien straightened to its full height and placed a 6-fingered hand against its chest. I am Kyrax, last surviving member of the Ellerin Collective. My ship was attacked by the Voth Imperium. I managed to escape, but my vessel was critically damaged. The Voth. Lieutenant Jackson frowned. We've had no contact with them. Consider yourselves fortunate, Kyrax said. They are conquerors who see other species as resources to be exploited. Maya studied the alien carefully. Something about Kyrax's story felt incomplete, but she couldn't detect any obvious deception. Why were they attacking you specifically? The alien's tendrils rippled in what Maya interpreted as discomfort. My people possess certain abilities the Voth wish to harness for themselves. I am the last of my kind. The others were captured or killed. And what abilities would those be? Jackson asked skeptically. Kyrax's gaze remained fixed on Maya. Captain, I sense you are a person of integrity and compassion. In my culture, when we are saved by another, we pledge ourselves to their service. I offer myself as your devoted companion. I will follow your every command, share my knowledge and abilities, and protect you with my life." The security team exchanged uncomfortable glances. Maya maintained her professional demeanor despite her surprise. "That's an extraordinary offer from someone we've just met," she replied carefully. "On Earth, we don't practice servitude. If you need asylum, we can discuss that with our authorities." "You misunderstand," Kyrax said, tendrils now undulating more rapidly. "This is not servitude but a sacred bond of mutual benefit. My people evolved to form symbiotic relationships with compatible species. Without such a bond, I will eventually—" The alien paused. "My health will deteriorate." Dr. Patel, the ship's chief medical officer, stepped forward. "Captain, initial scans do show unusual neurochemical readings. There could be truth to what it's saying." Maya considered her options. First contact protocols were clear about maintaining professional boundaries, but if Kyrax was truly the last of its kind and needed help, "I can't accept such an offer without understanding what it entails," she said finally. "For now, you're welcome aboard the Horizon as our guest. Dr. Patel will continue medical evaluations, and will provide quarters once we're confident there are no biohazard concerns." "As you wish, Captain." Kyrax bowed slightly. "But know that the Voth are persistent. They will come for me." Over the next week, Maya found herself increasingly fascinated by their unusual guest. Kyrax adapted quickly to life aboard the Horizon, learning Earth customs and language nuances with remarkable speed. The alien displayed extraordinary aptitude with the ship's systems, even suggesting several efficiency improvements that Chief Engineer Ramos reluctantly admitted were brilliant. During their daily briefings, Maya discovered that Kyrax possessed a keen strategic mind and a depth of knowledge about the sector that proved invaluable to their mission. Yet whenever she pressed for more details about the Ilorans or why the Voth pursued them so relentlessly, Kyrax became evasive. "My people were peaceful explorers and scholars," Kyrax explained during one such conversation in Maya's ready room. "We formed bonds with compatible species, sharing knowledge and abilities. The Voth saw this as a threat to their dominance." "And these bonds," Maya said, leaning forward, "what exactly do they entail?" Kyrax's violet eyes seemed to glow more intensely. "A mental connection, shared awareness, enhanced abilities for both parties. It is difficult to explain to someone who has never experienced it." "It sounds invasive," Maya said frankly. "It can only occur with willing participants," Kyrax assured her. "The compatibility must be mutual." And I sense, the alien paused, tendrils swirling in what Maya had come to recognize as excitement. "I sense you and I would be highly compatible, Captain." Before Maya could respond to this unexpectedly personal observation, the ship's alert system blared. "Captain, to the bridge." Commander Ortiz's voice came through the comm. "Unidentified vessel approaching at high warp." Maya was on her feet instantly. "On my way." She glanced at Kyrax. "You should return to your quarters." The alien's skin paled to a lighter blue. "Captain, if it's the Voth, I should be with you. I know their tactics." Against her better judgment, Maya nodded. "Fine. But you follow my orders." "Always," Kyrax promised with surprising sincerity. On the bridge, the main view screen displayed a massive vessel approaching, sleek, predatory, and heavily armed. "They're hailing us," Lieutenant Paddle reported from communications. On screen, Maya ordered, squaring her shoulders. The view screen flickered to show a reptilian humanoid with scaling gray skin and vertical pupils. "Earth vessel," the alien commander hissed. "I am Commander Thrax of the Voth Imperium. You are harboring a fugitive of significant value to us. Surrender the Eloran immediately." Maya felt Kyrax tense beside her. "This is Captain Chen. We have granted temporary asylum to a refugee. Under Earth diplomatic protocols, We cannot surrender someone seeking protection without due process. The Voth commander's scaled face twisted into what might have been a smile. Your species is new to this sector, Captain. You do not understand what you meddle with. The Ellerin is dangerous. It will attempt to bond with your kind, to infiltrate your minds. Maya carefully kept her expression neutral despite her growing concern. We've experienced no hostile actions from our guest. It hasn't bonded with any of your crew yet. The commander seemed genuinely surprised. Maya felt Kyrax shift closer to her. That's not relevant to this discussion, she replied firmly. What is relevant is that you are making threats against an Earth vessel on a peaceful mission. The Ellerin contains biological technology that belongs to the Imperium, Thrax insisted. Its neural structures can interface with our systems in ways that would advance our civilization by centuries. You will surrender it, or we will take it by force. The screen went dark. They're charging weapons, reported Lieutenant Jackson. Maya turned to Kyrax, whose tendrils were now completely still, a sign of extreme distress, she had learned. Is what they're saying true? Are you some kind of biological technology? Kyrax's violet eyes met hers. Not as they describe it. My species evolved natural abilities to form neural connections, first with each other, then with compatible species. The Voth discovered they could harvest these abilities by extracting and processing our neural tissue. Horror washed over Maya. They're hunting you for parts. In essence, yes. Kyrax's voice was barely audible. My people formed a symbiotic relationship with the Asteri, a peaceful spacefaring race. Together, we created a civilization that rivaled the Voth. The Imperium destroyed the Asteri homeworld and captured most of my kind. I am, as far as I know, the last free Ellerin. Captain, Jackson interrupted. They're locking weapons. Maya's decision crystallized instantly. Red alert. Shields at maximum. Evasive pattern delta. She turned to Kyrax. I won't surrender you to be harvested. But I need to know everything you can tell me about their tactical capabilities. For the first time since coming aboard, Kyrax's tendrils rippled with what Maya recognized as hope. Captain, I can do better than tell you. If you would permit a temporary connection between us, I could share everything I know about the Voth instantly. Maya hesitated for only a moment. What would that entail? A brief touch, Kyrax said, extending a 6-fingered hand. A surface connection only. I give you my word. As the Voth ship fired its first salvo against the horizon's shields, Maya made her decision and reached out to take Kyrax's hand. The moment their fingers touched, Maya gasped as her mind was flooded with images, tactical data, and emotional impressions. The horror of watching the Ellerin homeworld burn, the years of running and hiding, and beneath it all, a profound loneliness that made her heart ache. But most importantly, she suddenly understood exactly how to counter the Voth attack. Adjust shield harmonics to frequency 327.4, she ordered, her voice steady despite the strange doubling sensation in her mind. Target their port nacelle with a focused phaser burst. They have a design weakness there. Commander Ortiz looked startled but complied. The resulting hit caused the massive Voth vessel to veer off course. How did you know that? Jackson demanded. Maya looked at Kyrax, whose hand had withdrawn but whose presence she could still somehow feel at the edges of her consciousness. Let's just say our guest has provided some valuable tactical insights, she replied. Now, prepare for another attack. This isn't over yet. The bond. The battle with the Voth vessel stretched into hours, a tense game of cat and mouse through an asteroid field at the edge of the star system. The information Kyrax had shared gave the Horizon a fighting chance, but the alien warship's superior firepower was gradually wearing down their shields. In the captain's ready room during a brief lull, Maya faced her senior officers and Kyrax. The aliens stood slightly apart, tendrils moving slowly in what Maya now recognized as anxiety. Our shields are down to 28%, Commander Ortiz reported grimly. We've managed to damage their weapons array, but their hull integrity is still at 60%. They're regrouping for another assault. And we've received a transmission from Earth Command, Lieutenant Patil added. They're recommending we consider the Voth's demands. Apparently, the Imperium has made diplomatic contact and is threatening trade sanctions if we don't comply. Maya felt a surge of anger. They're willing to hand over a sentient being to be dissected for political expediency. The Admiralty suggests that one refugee isn't worth potentially starting a war, Jackson said, though he looked uncomfortable with the message. Maya turned to Kirax. I need the whole truth now. What exactly are these neural connections your people form? What would bonding with a human actually mean? The alien's violet eyes seemed to darken. The Ilorans evolved as a symbiotic species. In our natural state, we form neural connections with compatible hosts. These connections allow for shared consciousness, enhanced cognitive abilities for both parties, and in some cases, the sharing of unique biological capabilities. Like what? Dr. Patil asked, scientific curiosity overriding caution. It varies depending on the compatibility, Kirax explained. With some species, it manifests as enhanced strength or sensory perception. With others, telepathic abilities or accelerated healing. And with humans? Maya pressed. I cannot know for certain without a full bond, Kirax admitted, but based on our brief connection, I suspect enhanced cognitive processing, strategic thinking, and potentially limited telepathic abilities. The connection we shared earlier was merely superficial, a fraction of what a true bond would entail. Maya considered this. Even that brief connection had given her insights she couldn't have gained otherwise. And the risks. The initial bonding can be intense, Kirax said. There is a period of adjustment as neural pathways align. And there is the matter of privacy. Though with practice, bonded pairs learn to maintain mental boundaries. So you'd be in my head permanently. Maya couldn't keep the apprehension from her voice. The connection can be severed, though not without discomfort for both parties, Kirax explained. And it's not complete mental fusion, more like having another awareness alongside your own, which you can choose to engage with or not. The ship shuddered as another barrage from the Voth vessel hit their weakening shields. Captain, to the bridge, came the urgent call over the comm. As they rushed back to their stations, Maya pulled Kirax aside. If we survive this, we're going to have a longer conversation about this bonding process. The alien's tendrils rippled with what might have been hope. I would welcome that, Captain. On the bridge, the situation had deteriorated rapidly. The view screen showed the massive Voth vessel circling for another attack run, its weapons ports glowing with charged energy. Shields at 12%, reported Lieutenant Caftry from Tactical. One more direct hit, and they'll fail completely. Evasive pattern Omega, Maya ordered. Reroute power from non-essential systems. Captain, Kirax said urgently from beside her chair. I can help. Maya glanced at the alien, whose skin had taken on a faint luminescent quality. How? A full bond would allow me to interface directly with your ship's systems, Kirax explained rapidly. The neural efficiency would give us split-second timing advantages, predictive capabilities. I could help you anticipate their attack patterns before they execute them. Around them, the bridge crew exchanged nervous glances. Captain, Commander Ortiz warned, Starfleet regulations explicitly prohibit the integration of unknown alien biology with ship systems. With respect, Commander, Kirax countered, I'm not suggesting interfacing with your computers directly. The bond would be with Captain Chen alone. Through her, we could coordinate your crew's responses with unprecedented efficiency. The ship rocked violently as another volley struck. Shields at 7%. Katri called out. Maya made her decision. My ready room, now, she ordered Kirax, rising from her chair. Commander Ortiz, you have the bridge. Continue evasive maneuvers. Once the doors closed behind them, Maya turned to face the alien. Explain exactly what this entails, quickly. I would initiate a neural bond. Kyrax said, tendrils now moving rapidly with urgency. Our minds would connect. You would have access to my knowledge, my tactical understanding of the Voth, and I would be able to process information from your ship's systems through your perceptions. Together, we could coordinate a defense that would outmaneuver them. And the long-term implications. The bond would remain unless deliberately severed, Kyrax admitted. But I give you my word that I would respect your mental boundaries. This is not domination, Captain. It is partnership. Another violent shudder rocked the ship. Captain, shields critical, came Ortiz's voice over the comm. Maya took a deep breath. If I agree to this, you follow my lead. My ship, my rules. Always, Kyrax promised solemnly. My people honor our bonds above all else. Do it, Maya decided. Kyrax stepped forward and placed both six-fingered hands gently on either side of Maya's face. Relax your mind. Don't resist the connection. Maya closed her eyes as Kyrax's forehead touched hers. For a moment, nothing happened. Then a sensation like warm water flowing through her consciousness began to spread. She gasped as memories, knowledge, and emotions that were not her own suddenly became accessible. The devastation of the Ellerin homeworld, centuries of Kyrax's experiences, and an overwhelming sense of loneliness suddenly eased by connection. Simultaneously, she felt Kyrax experiencing her memories. The academy, her first command, the pride she took in her crew, her determination to protect them all. When she opened her eyes, the world looked different. She could process multiple information streams simultaneously, her mind working with unprecedented clarity. And at the edge of her consciousness was Kyrax, a presence both separate and integrated with her own thoughts. It worked, came Kyrax's voice in her mind. Bridge, Maya said, her voice steady despite the strange doubling sensation in her head. I'm on my way. When they returned to the bridge, Maya moved with new purpose. She could feel Kyrax's presence alongside her consciousness, processing tactical data at incredible speed. New evasion pattern, she ordered, feeding coordinates directly to the helm. Prepare to execute on my mark. As the Voth ship approached for what would have been a killing blow, Maya felt Kyrax's mind working alongside hers, calculating trajectories and probabilities at inhuman speed. Now, she commanded, and the Horizon executed a complex maneuver that brought them directly beneath the Voth vessel's vulnerable underside. Fire all phasers, concentrated on coordinates I'm sending now, Maya ordered, the targeting data flowing from her mind through her console with Kyrax's guidance. The resulting explosion rocked the enemy vessel. Through their shared consciousness, Maya could feel Kyrax's exhilaration and pride. Their primary weapons array is disabled, reported Lieutenant Katri, surprise evident in her voice. How did you know exactly where to target? Maya exchanged a glance with Kyrax. Let's just say we have good intelligence. Over the next 20 minutes, the newly bonded pair coordinated a series of brilliant maneuvers and precision strikes that left the Voth vessel crippled and retreating. As the immediate danger passed, Maya became more aware of the strange sensation of having another consciousness linked to her own. It wasn't invasive as she had feared, more like having a trusted advisor always at hand, whose thoughts she could access when needed. You're adapting remarkably well, came Kyrax's thought. Most species experience more disorientation initially. Maybe humans and Ellerins are more compatible than you expected, Maya thought back, surprising herself with how natural the mental communication felt. That evening, after the ship was secured and repair teams were addressing the damage, Maya sat in her quarters with Kyrax, trying to process the implications of what had happened. Earth Command is going to have questions, she said aloud, finding it easier to use spoken words for complex topics. I violated at least a dozen protocols today. You saved your ship and crew, Kyrax replied. And you've discovered a potentially valuable alliance. The neural connection we share could revolutionize human-alien relations. Maya could feel the sincerity behind Kyrax's words, an advantage of their bond. This connection, it's permanent unless severed. Yes, Kyrax confirmed. Though with practice, we can establish mental boundaries. Privacy is possible, even within a bond. Maya nodded slowly. I can already feel that. It's not the invasion I feared. The Ellerin bond is based on mutual respect, Kyrax explained. Domination would defeat its purpose. We evolved to complement our partners, not control them. Through their connection, Maya sensed something Kyrax wasn't saying. There's more, isn't there? Something about why the Voth want your people so badly. Kyrax hesitated, then nodded. The Ellerin neural tissue can be harvested to create biological interface technology. But the process destroys us. The Voth discovered that our neural pathways can be integrated with their systems, creating computers with intuitive capabilities far beyond conventional technology. Horror washed through Maya at the implications. They're butchering your people for parts. Yes, Kyrax admitted quietly. That is why I ran. That is why I am, as far as I know, the last free Ellerin. Maya felt the aliens' profound grief through their connection. The loss of an entire species, the loneliness of being the last. I won't let them take you, she said firmly. Whatever happens with Earth Command, I'll make them understand what's at stake. Kyrax's tendrils rippled with emotion. In my culture, the bond we formed is sacred. I have pledged myself to you, but you should know that the connection works both ways. My abilities are yours to command, but my well-being is now linked to yours as well. Meaning that what affects you affects me, Kyrax explained. Your joy becomes my joy, your pain, my pain. It is why my people choose our partners carefully. Maya considered this, and you chose me after knowing me for just a few weeks. Through their connection, she felt Kyrax's certainty. I knew from our first meeting that you were different. Your mind has a clarity, a compassion that called to me. The brief connection we shared confirmed it. The following day, Maya faced her senior staff to explain her decision. To her surprise, the reaction was largely supportive. The tactical advantages were undeniable, Commander Ortiz admitted. I've never seen maneuvers executed with that kind of precision, and preliminary medical scans show no harmful effects, Dr. Patel added. In fact, your neural efficiency has increased by approximately 27%. What about Earth Command? Lieutenant Jackson asked. They're still demanding we turn over our guest to the Voth. Maya straightened in her chair. I submitted my full report, including details on the Voth's true intentions for the Ellerin species. I also requested that Kyrax be granted refugee status and potentially citizenship as the last survivor of a persecuted species. And if they refuse, Ortiz asked quietly. Maya felt Kyrax's presence in her mind, not intruding, but supportive. Then I'll face the consequences. But I won't hand over a sentient being to be dissected for parts, regardless of the political fallout. 3 days later, as the Horizon continued its mission in a neighboring system, the response from Earth Command arrived. Maya read it in her ready room, aware of Kyrax's anxious presence at the edge of her consciousness. They granted you temporary protected status, she said finally, looking up at the alien. And they've opened diplomatic channels with 3 other species in this sector to form a coalition against the Voth's practice of harvesting sentient species. Kyrax's tendrils rippled with what Maya now recognized as joy, and our bond. They want to study it. Ethically, of course, Maya said with a small smile. Apparently, the potential for human Ellerin partnerships is too valuable to ignore. They're calling it a new chapter in interspecies relations. Through their connection, she felt Kyrax's profound relief and gratitude. I told you Earth was different, she said softly. You did, Kyrax acknowledged. And now I understand why. Your species values individual autonomy as much as collective progress. It's refreshing. Maya rose from her desk, feeling strangely comfortable with the alien presence that now shared her consciousness. We should report to Dr. Patel. She has about 1,000 tests she wants to run on our neural connection. As they walked through the corridors of the Horizon together, Maya reflected on the strange turn her mission had taken. She had set out to explore new worlds and make first contact with alien species. Instead, she had formed the most profound connection possible with the last survivor of a nearly extinct race. Through their bond, she felt Kyrax's response to her thoughts. "Not the last anymore," came the gentle correction. "As long as our bond endures, the Ellerin live on, and perhaps someday we will find others." For the first time since their minds had joined, Maya deliberately sent back a feeling rather than words, hope tinged with determination. Whatever came next, they would face it together.